Meanwhile, overseas, Niger's coup leaders have closed the country's airspace until further notice after Sunday's deadline to reinstate ousted President Bazoum was allowed to pass. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, had warned that it could take military action if the ousted president was not reinstated. Despite the threat of military action, thousands of supporters of Niger's coup leaders gathered at a stadium in the country's capital yesterday.
We know that the coup leaders have closed Niger's airspace after rejecting the ultimatum. And we also know President Bazoum remains under house arrest. Sources close to Bazoum in Niger have told us he is being held hostage. There are soldiers on the roof and surrounding his home while he remains inside with his wife and son. They have no electricity, no running water, and no cell phone connection. They do have food. They also have told us that they understand ECOWAS will have a meeting sometime this week, no date, no day given, to determine the next steps, and are confident and determined, they say, he will resume his presidency.
I want to go to Africa real quick. Let's talk about the brewing war in the Sahel in Africa. As you all know, there was a coup in Burkina Faso, there was a coup in Mali, and there was a coup in Niger. ECOWAS gave the leader of Niger a certain amount of time to restore the democratically elected president to office in Niger. ECOWAS said that if the president of Niger does not stand down and put the democratically elected president back into office, they are sending a military force into Niger. They are going to send a military force into Niger. This is what I think. I think ECOWAS is a puppet of the French government, and I think the French government has ECOWAS going into Niger to start this war so they can protect the uranium deposits. That's what I think this is about. I think this is a bad move by the West African community. We do not need any more war in Africa at this time. We don't need any more wars in Africa. So I hope that the president of Nigeria, the president of Ghana, the president of Gambia, the president of Liberia, the president of Cote d'Ivoire, the president of Cameroon, the president of Togo, and the president of Benin, I hope they reconsider their threat. I hope they reconsider their threat. We cannot have African nations going to war with each other. We cannot have African nations going to war with each other over minerals that outsiders want to exploit. We cannot do that. We cannot do that, because the only people who are going to suffer if there is a war in West Africa will be our elders, our women, and our children. We cannot accept that. So I'm hoping the presidents of Nigeria and the other West African nations reconsider sending military forces into Niger. That will not benefit Africa at all. Our people need peace. Africa needs peace. I am against any war in Africa. I am against any war in Africa right now. You cannot be going to war to protect the uranium deposits for the French government. That is not our problem. They can get uranium from other places. There are 6 countries in the world who produce more uranium than Niger. There are 6 other countries in the world who produce more uranium than Niger. So if they need uranium for nuclear weapons, they can get it elsewhere. But we cannot be going to war for uranium. We cannot do that. Africa needs peace right now. And I want the African Union to speak up, because I don't hear the African Union saying anything at all. The African Union needs to repudiate any threat of war. The African Union needs to repudiate and condemn any threat of war at all on African soil. We need peace. We need organization. We need development. We do not need war. We do not need war.
Black women, stop making babies with coons. Black men, you need to stop making babies with coons. So you got to start choosing people for revolution. As far as I'm concerned, we don't even need to be making no family unless we come together to produce soldiers for the revolution, scientists for the revolution, engineers for the revolution. business owners for the revolution. If we not coming together for revolutionary love, what we coming together for?